Yeah. Okay.
Let's hope we wait.
Yeah.
Wait, buddy.
नीचे बैठो बोला था मैं नीचे बैठने
जाओ शीशे में सो जाना
थैंक्स ये हो जाए
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
चलो 5 बजे से नहीं देना चाल कर सामने जाकर
Second row, I'll follow you.
Please.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is a moment of immense pride for us to gather in this auditorium today. Every student who enters the gate of IIT Delhi dreams of making an impact. Today, we are joined by the man who turned that dream into a national reality. Please give a warm welcome and a huge round of applause for our pride, Mr. Binny Bansal. Mr. Bansal's journey from these classrooms to co-founding Flipkart is more than a success. It is a blueprint for the modern Indian dream. His return to campus today is a powerful reminder of the potential that sits in this very room. We want to move beyond these headlines and get into the heart of his vision. To facilitate this conversation, we move on to our highlighted session of the evening, the Fireside Chat. I am pleased to welcome our moderator, Mr. Ayush Chandra, a coordinator at the Alumni Relations Club of IIT Delhi.
So, audience, can we have a big round of applause for Binny Bansal sir once again? So, how are you feeling, sir, after coming to IIT Delhi campus after so many years?
Yeah, no, it's been a long time. I think I was wondering when I was here last. I think it was before COVID, for sure. And the campus looks the same when you enter from the outside, but it's great to see. I think all the upgradation happening inside this hall looked very different before. But overall, I think it just feels like home. I think it just when I entered, it just felt so familiar and so many memories as I was walking around. I think feels amazing.
So moving on, we are having some bunch of questions and we would like to have your thoughts on them. So what was the hardest 0 to 1 problem you faced while building Flipkart and how did you approach it?
Yeah, so I think you're taking me like a long way back. Uh, so when we started Flipkart, there were, I mean, you have to imagine that world, right? Today, there are, there are maybe a billion people online in India. There's a big VC ecosystem. There are so many startups today. At that time, there were hardly 25 million people online, and very few VCs, and really no ecosystem. So, and both me and Sachin, my co-founder, we were both computer science grads. We knew nothing about retail or e-commerce. So for us, and we had no capital as well. So for us, the hardest part of the 0 to 1 was really, so we could still build a good product. We could still build like a great site where you could come and easily browse and buy whatever books you liked. But how do you go to market? How do you find customers? How do you get them to your site in the cheapest way possible? I think that was the toughest part of our 0 to 1 journey, and I think we were lucky to figure out a way to get our site really ranked high on Google using SEO. It took us a while, and we stumbled upon it. And actually, it is interesting. IIT Delhi again played a big role in that. So a lot of my story will come back to IIT Delhi actually. So there were these two guys who were running a company called Checkpuck.com at that time. It was like the IMDb of India, and they both the founders were from IIT Delhi, senior to us, a couple of years, 2 or 3 years senior batch, and they were also funded by our eventual investor, Axel. And we got in touch with them somehow. And I think one of them worked at Amazon as well, where we had worked before. So a lot of connections. And we stumbled and met them one day. And then they said, oh, there is this thing called SEO. And where if you do it well, Google will start sending you traffic when people are searching for books. Maybe people can go to your site because Google is showing them a site. And that's how it started. And within 2 3 months after meeting them, our traffic just shot up. Every month it would double, and that was the hardest thing. But I think it was a lot of hard work, but also a lot of luck and help from the ecosystem, especially IT Delhi people.
Yeah. The startup ecosystem of India is evolving too much, and things are changing very rapidly now these days. So, if you were to start Flipkart today in 2026, so how would you approach it today?
I think today it is a very different environment. I think some things would be the same, like you would want to figure out what is missing from a consumer lens. Today, what does the consumer need, and what is the sort of missing piece from a consumer perspective? I don't know what that is, that is today. I think e-commerce. I think the last big thing to happen in e-commerce obviously has been quick commerce, which even surprised me the way it took off. Uh, I think today with the big disruption which is obviously happening in the tech world is with AI, robotics, all of those things. So I would definitely look at, okay, where is technology going in these areas and what that means for the consumer sort of space in the country. What can you build today with AI, robotics, and other technologies which could not exist without these technologies? For example, like an Uber or an Ola could not exist without mobile internet and mobile apps. Uh, so what is that sort of business which you can build? And I think that's the best bet. If you can figure out a business model using that, I think AI and robotics, etc., has a big application in healthcare and education. I think completely different areas than what the internet transformed in a big way. So I would probably today look at those areas a lot more uh, than the regular fintech or e-commerce.
So we all know that you are also an avid investor. So how do you decide whether an idea is worth pursuing or versus abandoning it early?
I think that is a very uh, tough thing to do, and I think you are more wrong than you're right in that journey. So first, you have to be comfortable to be wrong a lot of times, even after making and placing your bets. Uh, I think I've thought about it a lot. I think end of the day, it comes down. If I look at in hindsight, what has worked, what has not worked. I think you can do all the analysis of the market, the business model, all of those things. I think a lot of it at the end of the day boils down to the entrepreneurs and their passion of solving things in general, their passion for the problem. I think founder fit also matters a lot. Like, is this founder the right founder for this type of problem? I mean, if you're building a B2C business, then we do the founders understand B2C marketing and go to market and customer experience. And if it is a B2B business, then we do the founders know how to network, to how to do sort of sales, how to go build relationships, all of those different things matter. And if they're building a like pure tech company, then they're really deep into the area, and uh, do they have clear insights which are not yet very clear to others outside in the markets. I think all those things become more important.
So you have mentioned about data and insight. So how do you make high stake decisions when the data is missing or the data is ambiguous?
Data is mostly always ambiguous, and especially in startups. I mean, you have to learn. The big skill you have to learn is to deal with the ambiguity. The better you can manage risk while dealing with ambiguity, I think the better you sort of become as an entrepreneur. And at least the way we learned how to do that was to do a lot of experiments, but start very small, like do small experiments, lots of them, and again be willing to fail, because if you are doing small experiments and they don't work, you can always try the next one. But if you sort of bet it all on one or two big decisions, then it can be very fatal. I'll give you an example. So when we started selling electronics, so we started with books first 3-4 years, and uh, our books category was growing, was doubling every quarter, growing very fast, 20-30% month over month growth. And then after 3-4 years, we launched electronics. And when we launched it, we thought, okay, this will be as easy as selling books. And it didn't really work for the first 6 months. Then we figured out, okay, we need to launch cash on delivery, because people don't want to pay online. So we launched cash on delivery. And at that time, we didn't have our own logistics. So we were using third-party courier services. There was couriers you would not hear probably today. You guys will not know today there was a courier company called First Flight and TTDC and all these players who we were partnering with, and they were doing the cash on delivery for us. And the problem was that none of them were used to doing a cash on delivery type of model. So while we launched cash on delivery and customers were adopting it, customers started buying more from us, but the delivery experience started to suffer. So we used to measure something, customer satisfaction, through NPS scores, and that started going down for us. So then we said, what do we do? How do we fix this? And we started a small experiment in like 2 pin codes in Bangalore with 10 people of delivering on our own. So we said, okay, let's try whether our own delivery model works. And once we did that and we tried it for 2-3 months, we saw customer experience being much better and repeat rates in those pin codes being much higher. So then in the next year, we scaled it very rapidly to 20 cities, 1,000 people delivering products on our own. So once something works, you scale it up very rapidly, but you do keep doing a lot of small experiments and that's how you sort of keep reducing risk because you don't know what's going to work. There's so much, as you said, so much ambiguity. So that's a sort of practical way of how we approach things.
So you have mentioned about scaling of operations. So what are some of the challenges then you that a founder faces when he is shifting his focus from product to scaling operations?
So yeah, it is so the 0 to 1 journey where you are really building the product. You're trying to figure out what will work, what will make the customer happy, and getting it going, getting something started is very different. And then the scaling journey is like completely different because once you build something which works at 100 customers, 1,000 customers, then taking it to 100,000, million, 10 million customers is a totally different ballgame because uh, the way you need to scale from for every like 10x is to really change the way your whole organization and your whole sort of system internally works. And you have to keep evolving the system, your processes, and you have to keep evolving yourself because what got you here is not going to get you there. So what got you till now, you have to be very very open to keep changing the way you do things. You have to be very open to learning from the outside world how scaling happens because it is not something. I mean, because scaling is the good thing is that scaling is kind of solved by others, so you can learn a lot from others. So you have to be open to learning a lot from others. Whereas when you're doing a 0 to 1, it's really about you. Like you have to figure out something new, and nobody has done that before. So the 0 to 1 is mostly like can you figure out something which others can't, and maybe there's not a lot people can help you with in the 0 to 1 journey. But I think in the journey of scaling, it's also important that you pick up whatever you can learn from others and you apply it to your business.
So talking about evolution, what do you think? How your leadership style has evolved from the Flipkart's early days to the latest stages?
Yeah, I think I can clearly think about maybe 3 to 4 phases of evolution. The first phase is basically for doer, like you are literally doing everything yourself. So when we had started, we would be writing code ourselves. We would be going and procuring books ourselves, spending like 3 4 hours driving my bike or Sachin's car and going around the whole all of Bangalore to all the distributors, picking up books, packing them, shipping them, doing customer service ourselves. So the initial phase is really about being the doer, doing everything yourself, getting your hands dirty, understanding what it takes, and building something unique. Uh, when it starts working a little bit, then you sort of start becoming a little bit of a manager. You need to hire a small team. You need to learn how to manage a few people. Again, we were like 25, 26 year old when they started growing, and we had obviously no experience of managing people. So that was the first evolution. Okay, how do you hire people? How do you work with them? How do you make sure everything works well? And then I think real phase comes when you really need to scale from 100 to 1,000 and to 10,000 to a million. That is when you need to hire leaders who will work with you. I think we got lucky in our third phase that it was clear to us that we couldn't do everything ourselves. So we ended up hiring a few people who became a very core part of our management team, leadership team. And they were very early on, we realized they were much better than us in their jobs. So we hired a CTO who was much better than us in building the whole system and also building a really great technology team. While Sachin and I had done all the had written all the code up till then for Flipkart, but we were clear that we are not the best people to take it from there. So and build a team which would do it. So we were lucky in that, and then uh, we did hire a couple of other people in a similar way who were better at operations and in business development as well. And that kind of became our engine at Flipkart of scaling, where we set the bar very high for who could join Flipkart. A lot of IT Delhi people met that bar. Well, I think 50-60% of the initial Flipkart team was from, again, IIT Delhi, because that's where we knew a lot of folks. And I think that just created a flywheel of talent that is now, I think, today almost in any company, in any startup in the ecosystem, you will find 20 to 40% of the leadership team would be ex-Flipkart. That was sort of the talent density we were able to build.
Yeah, so talking about hiring, there will be many people sitting in the audience who will be looking onto working for Flipkart. So one is some of the things that you look in the hiring that eventually that would help them in becoming a good leader.
Yeah, I think what we started with would be probably different than what we look for today. I think if you want to join a startup, I think Flipkart is a big company now, but I think if you're looking to join the Flipkart of that day or any other similar sort of startup, I think it is what, as a founder of an early growth startup, I would look for is I think problem solving, not just in her domain, but also a little bit problem solving uh, across multiple domains, and also communication uh, is and stakeholder management. I think if you can sort of show enough proficiency in these areas, I think that goes a long way. And an openness to really learn, get your hands dirty, take ownership. I think those things become very important to join early stage startups.
So a founder is having multiple responsibilities. So what mental habits or routine help you handle pressure and uncertainty as a founder? So what are some of the routines that have in your day-to-day life?
Yeah, I think a routine and founder's life doesn't really go hand in hand. I think founder's life is anything but routine in the founder's life. I think the only thing which I would say was consistent was people ask you, right? I mean, what keeps you up at night? So I think the only thing which was consistent for me was sleep. I would definitely make sure I get 8 to 10 hours of good sleep, which would become which would power me for the day to come and all the uncertainties that happen in the founder's life on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. I think apart from that, yeah, I at least personally, I don't remember having sort of any routine, so as to speak. I think every day is different when you're a founder, and I think it is, at least in hindsight. I mean, I could have done better, but good sleep was what got me through most of it.
So what is more stressful, IT daily examination time or Flipkart's peak sale days? Peak sale days.
I think definitely I did an examination. I think there, I think in IT Delhi examination, finally you have to sit and you have to write the exam. So people can help you a little bit in helping prepare, and I spent a lot of time in the X hall studying with my fellow students, trying to make sure that I don't fail in the exam next day. So, but at the end of the day, you have to go and write the exam yourself. I think peak sale days is also very tough. First time, actually, peak sale days also is an example where we tried it the first time. We didn't go really well for us in 2013, and we got it right from the next year, 2014-15, in a big way. But we had a chance to sort of come back, and there is a strong team which is delivering and which is working on the front lines. So it makes it a little bit easier, just a little bit. Both are hard.
So, sir, if you were a student at IIT Delhi today, with the current startup ecosystem and resources, how would you use the campus differently? Nowadays, we are having multiple revenues like FIDT and the endowment fund also.
Yeah, I think if you think about uh, sort of if you're a student today in an institute like IIT Delhi, right? Uh, I think you have a lot more sort of access to knowledge, information, to infrastructure, to these programs than obviously we used to at that time. And there's a lot more opportunity to do things in various fields. You can, and there's a lot more opportunity to also collaborate with other people. It's much easier to collaborate across, within IIT, across IITs, across the world as well. So if you're passionate about something, if you're passionate about whatever area that that you are working in, I think you can do a lot more. You can tinker a lot more, and you can build a lot more. So uh, I think I would definitely figure out what is it that I am that I want to do, and I think basically take advantage of all these infrastructure and I think all the programs that are available today for sure.
So talking about hostels and campus life. So what were your best memories on campus? So if you would like to share a few of your memories.
Yeah, so I think I am, as I said, feeling very nostalgic. So if I look back my time at IIT Delhi, right? Before I joined IIT Delhi, I thought like I was really good at computer science. So I was the only person in my whole school class who knew how to code. Nobody else in like my class of 40, 50 students knew how to code. I was obviously good at math, science, and everything. That is why I got in. But when I came here uh, in the first year, everybody does the CS 100 or whatever 120, 110 course, right? So I think I did the CS 120 course, and I remember like I got a C or something in the course, in the CS course, which was my worst grade out of all the others were also Bs mostly, no A's, but I got a C in CS, and I joined CS. So I think the first year was really like coming to the ground that okay, this is not going to be easy, and I really needed to sort of understand okay what part of computer science really I want to do and why what I not like. That's why I didn't study maybe. So I had to figure out really what did I really want to do. And I was kind of like an average student in IIT, not very bad and not very good either. I was always very sporty. So I was uh, spent a lot of time in the sports. I think the two big unique things for me in my IT journey was one. I was one of the very few who had a girlfriend in college at that time in IIT, and I had a bike in IIT. I think both were very uh, rare things to happen at that time in IIT, and I think uh, the other a big fact which most people don't know is that again IT has played like a key part in my life. So I met my wife, my life partner in IT as well. And I met my business partner and co-founder Sachin also in IT. Consequently, both of them uh, were in the same lab in the summer of 2005. My wife Trisha, she's here. She was doing an internship. She had come to do an internship in IT. She was probably like the only girl in that lab in like 15, 20 years that you would have seen in IT. And then Sachin was also uh, in that lab completing his project. And why I was there in the lab, and actually why Sachin was also in that lab was because we had both not finished our BTech projects on time. So all of my batchmates had left and gone for the summer or gone to the jobs or whatever. I've gone back home in the last year, and I hadn't completed my project, so I had to stay back to complete it. I had to go to the lab every day in the heat, and thankfully I didn't complete. So I ended up meeting Trisha there. I ended up meeting Sachin there, and both of them kind of interestingly came into my life back after a year. Like Sachin came to Bangalore. Sachin joined some company in Delhi, then came to Bangalore to join Amazon after a year. And then I think I met Trisha again after a year in Delhi as well. And we started dating. So I think it is, those are obviously part of the fondest memories of IT Delhi as well.
So you must be having your own memories associated with exhibition hall from your time at IIT. So how does it feel to now see that same place is named after you?
Oh my God, I don't know what to say. I think it is. I could never imagine anything like that. I think like the X Hall is like a core part of life of any student at IIT Delhi, especially for me. I mean, obviously you sit and give all your exams there, I think a lot of students also end up spending a lot of time there studying or just mingling with their friends there as well and working on projects, etc. So I think I spent a lot of time in the Excel. So when the director was talking to me that we want to name something uh, after you in IT, and he said, okay, maybe the cricket field or Excel. I was like, I'm very clear. Like I was a lot into sports, but not that much into cricket. I would pick the Excel any day over the cricket field. I think it is a place where I spent a lot of time. I have so many memories, and yeah, I think I'm very grateful and thankful to the institute and the director for this great honor.
Yeah. I've also heard this from from many of my friends that they got to know that Expo was called Exhibition Hall after it got renamed Binny Bansal Exhibition Hall. So moving on, we would like to have some audience questions. So if there are any people, those who would like to ask questions, so they can raise their hands.
Hello, Sir. Krish here. Uh, with AI, how do you see e-commerce evolving? Because we have not seen AI coming to e-commerce companies pretty recently. So, how do you think it's going to play out?
Yeah, even I'm thinking about that. I think uh, AI is obviously, I think, one of the biggest technology disruptions of our time, and it is going to change. I think almost everything about the way we work, how we work, and how a lot of businesses are built. As well, it will enable new business models which don't exist today, like the internet did when the internet came about. So again, I think AI will change retail and e-commerce in big ways. But yeah, I would be lying if I said I kind of know how it will. I think some entrepreneur somewhere is figuring that out. You can be one of those entrepreneurs figuring that out as well. What I can say is it will definitely have a big impact on e-commerce, and not just e-commerce, I think on all business models out there. And the A, I think the AI impact is just starting. I think what has happened, what what had happened till I think till a year or 6 months back was only that AI was useful as a co-pilot. It could sort of help you with sort of complex research or information uh, till 6 months back. But today it has started to do tasks for you, very complex tasks, and as an individual, and I think tomorrow it's going to be the team as an organization. So I think it is going to have a major start. It is going to start having a major impact on how we work very soon. So yeah, I don't have a clear answer on how it changes e-commerce, but it definitely will change almost every business, including e-commerce.
Hello, sir. I'm Arav. I wanted to ask, what kept you going during the hard times, like when nothing was going your way, like in Flipkart or otherwise in life? Like, what kept you like going into it?
Yeah, I think so. In Flipkart, we were a little lucky that I think very 6 months after we started, we had kind of found that product market fit, the 0 to 1, and we started growing quite rapidly. So then the challenge of sort of not things not working out was really was not uh, had not anything to do with that. Okay, the company will die, but it was more about that we are not growing as fast as we could, uh, or we were not able to let's say raise money at the right time or at the right terms at different phases, etc. Uh, but I think what keeps you going, obviously, even during those difficult times, is the bigger ambition, the bigger goal that I think we wanted to build like a world-class internet company and business out of India at that time, which everybody could sort of look up to. And I think that's the ambition, I would say, which sort of kept you going.
So, Yash this side, sir. As you like, you were working in Grey Orange before, you were into the research part, I think. And
I
then,
was an investor and an advisor to the founders in Grey. I didn't work there.
sorry, but you were working in some robotics company.
I was in Sargam, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, how did you make the leap and decide that, yeah, this is the right problem and this is the right co-founder for me? How did you finally analyze that?
Yeah, so again, you can't really overanalyze some of these things. I think it is uh, so on the co-founder question. So Sachin and I were good friends. In Bangalore, we became good friends, and we were both working in Amazon at that time, and we both had similar thought process and ideas about building, starting a company, doing something interesting. And we both thankfully had similar value systems at the time. So I think that was important. In hindsight, we also had very complementary skills, which I think went a long way to be reason of our success. Uh, so similar values, complementary skills. Similar values was very clear when we were trying to work together. Complementary skills, I would say, I can see now in hindsight, at that time we didn't say, oh, we have complementary skills, so let's work together. So, but I think that was on the co-founder bit. So good friends, good values, same value system. So that's why easy to work with. On the idea, it's an evolution always. I think it's never your first idea that you start with. We started, we thought about different ideas. We started with our first idea was not really selling books or doing e-commerce. It was doing comparison shopping of other e-commerce sites. And when we tried doing that, we kind of figured out that that is that there are no good e-commerce sites. And that's when we stumbled upon this idea that okay, if there are no good e-commerce sites, then maybe we should start one without knowing what it takes. So, I mean, they say ignorance is bliss, right? So if we had actually analyzed it, we should have come to the conclusion that two 25-year-old computer science founders who know how to only write code should not get into e-commerce. It is in operations. It is 70-80% in operations and merchandising business, and it's maybe 30-40% technology business. So, but thankfully we didn't do that. So I think sometimes some immaturity and also helps as well.
Hello, sir. Sir, my question is related to Optra, right, where you are working with the global value chain. So I want to know about what are the challenges you are facing while working as a company which is facilitated to other companies.
Yeah, so Optra is sort of a business which is in the e-commerce space, but it's basically about partnering with brands across the globe and managing their e-commerce businesses, but across the world. So if let's say a brand from India, for example, Campus Shoes is an Indian brand, and they want to go to Middle East or they want to go to Southeast Asia. So we have become their partner to launch them in these markets. And here the challenges are obviously a bit different in nature. It's a lot more about global compliance, global supply chains, and also regionalization. Cultures in these countries are different. The e-com platforms are different. Supply chains are different. Uh, how you do marketing, how you position business in every market. So, so Opera is really about building a business where AI can really help you scale. Because if we are running a business of, let's say, we are managing a business of 1,000 brands in 50 countries in this model, then you're running 1,000 into 50,000 businesses in parallel every day. And the only way to run 50,000 businesses in parallel is if agents are running most of the day-to-day operations and day-to-day decision making. So that's the vision around Optra. It's very new. We're just getting started. We don't have 50 countries or 1,000 brands, but that's the vision that we started with.
Good evening. Good evening, sir. My name is Prakamya. My question to you was like, if you ever had the power to go back in time, would you like to change Flipkart's name to something else, or would you like to keep it that way?
What do you think?
No, I'm not sure. I mean, if Flipkart is a very simple name, yet it conveys a very deep meaning. So मुझे तो नाम बहुत अच्छा लगता है. But अगर आपको कुछ और लगता या फिर आप उसी को वैसे ही रखते तो.
Oh, that's a great question. So I think people I think give too much credit to a name. I think the name really derives most of its value from what is built. If you build a great product, then like Google, what kind of a name is Google, right? I mean, it is Google. We all like Google because Google is a great product and it gets you what you want, and not because it's a great name. So I think when we were naming the company, again we had a lot of constraints. I mean, we didn't have any money to buy a good domain name, so we could only buy $8 is the cheapest you can get a domain name for. So we said, okay, अब क्या करें? How do we find a good name and but with $8? So we said, okay, internet. We are building an internet company, so the name should not be very long. So 8 characters is the maximum. The name should be something which has a nice ring to it, and it should be something which does not sound like anything else, so that people don't confuse it from a brand perspective. And in Flipkart, we stumbled upon Flipkart name. It was available for free with a K. Thankfully, with a K, I like the Flipkart with a K better than a C. I think Flipkart with a C would be very boring. Flipkart with a K has something to it. So we found, thankfully, we didn't find Flipkart with a C. It was probably a few $1,000s, which we didn't have. So Flipkart with a K was $8, and that's how we bought it. And yeah, it's been. I think we never wanted to change it.
It should be like, because given the circumstances, you picked a very beautiful name.
Thank you.
Hi sir, I am Pushkin, also a computer science student here. Sorry. So when you left Amazon to start Flipkart, like after 9 months, I guess. What was your thought process? Why did you leave the job security? And as a student here myself, like my goal is always been entrepreneurship. So should I like first in the present time should I first explore the corporate culture and have this of it, or should I just go towards my dream?
There's no right answer. When I was at IIT and I was sort of in your shoes, I was not really thinking about entrepreneurship as much. So, but what I was clear was that I didn't want to do a master's or an MBA. I think as I said, I was an average student. I really enjoyed like my computer science projects. I enjoyed doing stuff, but I didn't enjoy studying. So I was clear, okay, I would rather go and do, which is rather go and work. And there was not much entrepreneurship was not a thing at that time, right? So you didn't really. I don't think a lot of people were thinking entrepreneurship at that time. So the only good option was to join one of the cool. I think get a job in something you like and do that. So that was very clear to me. I think what I did differently here and there was my campus placement was in this hedge fund called DE Shaw. It was going to be like a job writing code in Hyderabad for DE Shaw in a hedge fund in the finance field, which I had no idea about, like what they do. And today I know. At that time, I had no idea. So, but I was really passionate about computer vision, about computer graphics, those kind of things. So I kind of found a job in this company called Sarnav, which was a research first company, small company, but a research first company based out of Princeton, New Jersey, and an office in Bangalore, where 3 or 4 again IT Delhi people used to work. So I got in touch with them. They interviewed me, uh, and they selected me. And then so I went to Bangalore instead of Hyderabad. And then Sachin came to Bangalore, and we became friends, and that's how Flipkart started. So my journey was that I went to Bangalore, worked for a couple of years, and then I think why I left Amazon was because when I joined Amazon, thinking that I would do really amazing work in internet and distributed systems and everything. But when I joined, I think the business we were working on was going through some ups and downs. It wasn't working very well at a global level. And so there was no focus on the whole project. Office at 12, I would go sort of browse the internet, read about startup blogs for 1 hour, go have lunch. After lunch, play table tennis, then go to Costa Coffee or Barista, have coffee, then 4 or 5, go home. So I was like, okay, I did that for 2 months, and after 2 months, I was like, I can't keep doing this. I mean, people have a 9 to 5 job, I had like a 12 to 4 job, barely. So I think that led me to, and then I had interviewed twice at Google. So, and they rejected me first time. They took 8 interviews and said, we can't hire you. Next time they took only 4 interviews and said, sorry, we can't hire you. So then I said, okay, I mean, Google is not hiring me. Amazon, there's no work. There's no. I mean, what is the next? There's no good place to go and work. And I was reading all these blogs. I was seeing people in the Silicon Valley do amazing things in the startup space. So I said, okay, let me try to build something rather than waste my time at Amazon. And thankfully, I had a co-founder, uh, a friend who was also thinking of the same thing. He was also in my team getting bored, and both of us decided that okay, let's try it out. I mean, worst case, we'll try it out for 18-24 months. And if it does not work, what is the worst case, right? I mean, we would get a similar or maybe a better job given our experience in a startup, trying to build a startup after 2 years. So I think uh, something which feels like obviously in the short term it's a risk that you're taking, but if you think about the worst case scenario, I mean the worst case scenario wasn't really that bad. We didn't really have a family to support, or anything where we were risking or a mortgage to pay for a house or something. So we had thankfully, we had none of those things, so we could sort of say, okay, 18-24 months doesn't work, then go back to a job, I guess.
So we'll have the last question from the audience.
Hello, sir. Sir, if you had to start something like Flipkart today, what would you do differently and what things you would keep the same?
Yeah, I would not start something like Flipkart. I think there are too many companies fighting each other. Yeah. No, I think in today's world, I mean, if you're starting uh, something, obviously there is. I think one, there's a lot more competition that is there, so you have to be unique in what you're trying to do, or you're doing something again which is like AI first, and nobody else is. Not many people are building this new business model which you are building, which was true at I think our time. Not there were not there was competition for Flipkart, but there were not too many of people trying to build e-commerce as well, because there were not so many customers at that time anyway. So I think hard to compare. I mean, it's a very different world.
So, sir, we would love to hear more from you, but because of the time constraint, we have to stop. So, thank you, sir, for your insightful discussion.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bansal. Thank you for your valuable insights. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Bansal's family, along with Team AR and Nirendra Senroy sir, for the felicitation of Mr. Bansal. Please come up on stage.
Thank you. This is my father-in-law, Mr. Deep Vasudeva, my mother-in-law, Mrs. Indra Vasudeva, my mother, who I think played a big role in, I would say, sort of shaping the way some of my entrepreneurial instincts. I think what I would credit my parents will be that I think they fostered independent thinking from very early on. Never sort of they were never very insistent on making sure that how am I doing in academics, or what is happening. They would let me figure out from very early on what I would want to do or not. And I think that kind of journey continued while I was at IIT, and then obviously post IIT as well, and was a, I think, very important ingredient in deciding to start and take that risk that you talked about. I think that was very important. So thank you, Mama. And my twin boys, Arav, Neerav, I think they are just, we are trying to keep them away from screens, not getting them into too much of technology for now. But I think they will get into it probably more than me at some point. And I think who's one of the reasons, apart from sleep, on why I got through all the ups and downs. She's been a complete pillar for the whole family. And I think, as I said, I was sort of managing the front end, she managed the back end, and without that infrastructure and back end, you can't really get to where you are. Thank you. And finally, my father, again, who's been an inspiring figure for me, and he's always was very supportive in whatever I wanted to do. I remember me being one of the very few kids in my peer group who had a computer. At that time, computer was not cheap, and but when I asked for one, uh, I had to two times, but I finally uh, got it, and thankfully, I think it's paid a lot of dividends. The passion for tech and for computers. So thank you.
I also invite Miss Mona Singh, the CEO of Endowment Management Foundation, to please come up on stage. Uh, please, will you please stay on the stage for the felicitation? I request the Bansal family to please stay on the stage for the group selfie. Once again, a huge round of applause for the Bansal family. Moving forward, now as we talk about legacies and milestones, it's only fitting that we hear from the very voices who will be shaping the next decade. So now I invite the Deputy General Secretary of CAC UG, Mr. Parth Gautam, to take this mic.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Parth Gautam. I am a final year student in the Department of Electrical Engineering. In my role as a Deputy General Secretary UG of Co-Curricular and Academic Interaction Council CIC, it's my privilege to introduce you to IT Delhi Next Vision 2035, a competition launched to capture the ideas and aspirations of student community for what IT Delhi should look like over the next decades. As we are aware, the Institute is currently in the process of drafting its vision for 2035. Every unit is brainstorming for its roadmap for IT Delhi. And so, to include the students in this exercise, our director announced an interesting competition for students on the foundation day this year. IIT Delhi Next Vision 2035. The Office of Academic Outreach and New Initiatives and CAIC came together for the ideation and implementation of the same. The focus was not just on solving current problems, but on imagining the bold, innovative, and impactful possibilities for the Institute's future. Students were encouraged to think freely, challenge existing norms, and propose visionary ideas that could shape IT Delhi's academic, cultural, and technological landscape by 2035. The ideas presented today span across key themes such as academic innovation, campus infrastructure, sustainability, student life, alumni connect, and technology integration. Together, these themes reflect a holistic vision for IIT Delhi, one that is future ready, inclusive, and impactful. The responses we received were truly overwhelming, with various entries from UG, PG, and PhD students across the institute, featuring a wide range of creative and thought provoking ideas. While it was difficult to select the best ones, after a rigorous evaluation process across the multiple rounds, including a round of pitching the ideas in front of a committee chaired by our Deputy Director Operations, Professor Edima. A few ideas stood out for their exceptional clarity, originality, and potential impact. Today, we are delighted to present the top three winners of ITD Next Vision 2035 who will share their ideas with all of us in 5 minutes each. So I would like to begin this by calling with the second runner-up of this competition, Rohan, who is a fourth-year undergraduate student from Department of Biotech and Biochemical Engineering. Rohan's ideas impressed the jury with its thought perspective and strong potential contribution meaningful to IT Delhi's long-term vision. So I would like to call Rohan on stage to present his idea.
I request everyone to please stay. There are many things planned after this event, along with the inauguration of the newly made X Hall.
So, hello everyone, I'm Rohan, final year BTech student, and today I'm presenting a Vision 2035, a better, a sustainable, and a smarter IIT Delhi campus. So, let me take you through a situation. Imagine you are a student in IIT Delhi or any other college, and you decide to study. You are highly motivated, and you go to library, and when you find no available seat there, then you go to another then you go to another space, let's say LSC, and there also there also you don't find any seat. So by the time you finally found a seat, 10 or 15 minutes are already gone,
and so is your momentum. This creates wastage of time and unnecessary movement around the campus, and most importantly, reduce motivation to study. So here is my first idea, that is a smart study navigation system, in which imagine you open an app and instantly see whether there is a availability in library or any other area to study. This app shows you the availability of seats, and it uses the occupancy sensors and camera based detections to track the availability in real time. And here it gets where more powerful. This is a prototype I've just created for the competition, which shows where the seats are available. The green ones are the available seats, and the red ones are not available, which are occupied. So you can choose the floor, and you can choose the area where you want to go. Let's say you choose LSC, and then floor wise you can select, and you can see whether there are seats available or not. And it is not just a concept. Universities like University College of London and already using this kind of idea by the UCL Go, and University of Waterloo and several other US universities also using the same idea in their campus. This this saves so much of time and also create productivity. Now, other than this, there are number of posters printed every week in our campus for the events or to advertise any other competitions or etc. So this is a picture I have clicked recently. This is yesterday's photo, and you can see how much waste is created in generating a or printing a poster. So instead of printing poster, I have an idea, that is the interactive campus discovery boards, where we can install large digital display around the key campus areas, so that we can replace the posters and make it a more sustainable idea. And we already see these kind of things in our daily life, like bus stand or shopping complex, where large screen are showing continuously showing the advertisement and updates. We can use the same idea in our campus, and for the advertising of upcoming events. And universities like MIT, Stanford, and University of Michigan already using these kind of display systems for event communications, and this creates a centralized information system, a more engaging way to discover events, and a sustainable solution. Combining these two ideas, we move one step closer to a more smarter and sustainable campus. Thank you.
Now I invite our first runner-up, Ojasu Saxena, a first-year MSR student from Department of Electrical Engineering. Ojasu's idea stood for its originality and clarity, presenting a compelling vision for Institute's future. Ojasu, please.
Hello everybody. Uh, so, so first of all, hi, Mr. Bansal. So I'll be presenting my idea of a vision for 2035 of the how the campus looks like, what kind of life, the practical aspects of a student's life in that day, instead of solving any one problem. So so there'll be two components to my vision. Right? So there's one component which is like a personalized component, which is like a tool, a technology, or AI system which knows about your personal, uh, like maybe mental state, your sleep schedule, your cycles, your food habits, etc. And there's a public component which can include things like those institute schedule, institute timetable, the physical locations of libraries, the availability of seats, etc. Right. So this is the first component. That is the personalized private data. That is condensed into these three pillars. Actually, the condensed daily planning. Like you wake up, an AI assistant that is aware of your personal uh, details, openly integrated with the institute. So the ideas, the personal and the physical and the public components are working together in this way. Like there's a precise cooperation between the two, right? So your personal AI is openly integrated with the institute, provides a compact summary of the day, charting routes, suggesting nutritional menus, and flagging your deadlines. And at the same time, the assistant is always monitoring your brain signals and monitoring workload spikes and proactively suggesting breaks, counseling, and peer support. And also, because of the rise of AI safety and accountability, it is ensured that each student's data is kept isolated from each other and encrypted from the institute staff. Right. So by that time, my vision includes like a clear data laws as well that are set kept in place to prevent data sharing, etc. Again, this can also another way that these can be interlinked is the smart public campus movement. The campuses in-campus public transport systems consist of autonomous timetable-aware AI rigs and buses ferrying students from hostels and libraries. Each student's personal AI, the first component, tracks and clusters passengers and students and teachers by location, timetable, food preferences, budget, circadian rhythm, etc., to automatically select the most convenient and efficient transport modes from that clustering. And transit routes are also flexibly flying from nearby locations where student housing exists and from daily public transport systems. Uh, Another factor is AI augmented learning, where the assistant analyzes interests, workload balance, and long term goals to suggest electives and research lines, and it also connects you to professors which are tailored to precisely to your academic goals. While classes continue like in a 24/7, sorry, while classes continue like in a physical mode with professors leading the lectures, which is kept intentional so that everything does not get indoors as technology moves forward. I wanted to retain that intentional idea of physical interaction with your surroundings with public transport. But we have 24/7 AI teaching assistants which will be there for accessibility for everybody, right? Which are as good as physical teaching assistants in that sense. There's a well-being ecosystem with vertical forests to regulate temperature and improve air quality, sustainable foundations with renewable energy, closed loop water recycling, etc. Climate resilience, dense green infrastructure stabilizes the campus microclimate, and IIT Delhi becomes a living climate buffer for the city. So, in my final, to sum up the vision, the tech actually acts like a foundation, like a porous riverbed for campus life, where it reduces everyday inertia and mobility, accessibility, and living conditions, and hence nourishes mental well-being. So here, technology is used to bundle physical lived experiences to inform shared public convenience structures. Right. So our first component being personal lived experience, and that is informing shared public convenience structures, which is our second component. The aim is to quietly transform personal support into collective convenience. Thank you.
And now it's time to hear from our winner of the competition ITD Next 2035, Samriddhi Raj Singh, fourth year UG student from Department of Biotech and Biochemical Engineering. So we invite you, Samriddhi, to present your idea.
So, good evening, everyone. I'm Samriddhi, and for 2035, it's not too far. So, what we're expecting, flying robots or whatever, but I'm someone who believes that comfort is more important. So, let's see a cooler vision where it's more greener and more live environment. So, my domain will be campus infrastructure and design. And the first. So when we came out of the ellipses and the hot summers, what we find, we need shaded areas. We are not talking to our peers, but we only want to find a place where we can hide and see and sit in a cool place. But while searching on this idea, I came across the Stanford University and saw they have fountains, but our campus don't. Why not? But we cannot stop at fountains. So why not make it beyond something that is more than beauty? So it will have fine mist system that will spray along so that it cools the environment too, and integrating it with the AI climate sensor, so it cools, make a small micro environment where it can cool down the space. For hygiene issues, we can also automate it using the AI LI control system, filtration systems, and more automated cleaning. And for the sustainability part, we can use recycled rainwater, and what rainwater harvesting can go also. And for the future potential, the most interesting thing we can have like uh, even light waste shows, like water shows we used to have, we can have on our fountains and create a good environment over there. So this was the Stanford ideas that I took, and this is what our RITs could look like, and our LHC friendly area can look like in future. And then these are some areas where we can put them more to. Moving on to second part. We always get curious when we go to the park. Why not use this curiosity in the park at least? So integrating these into something that actually teaches us something, where students are learning something new. So integrating the parks, the regular equipments we have, updating them a little so that they become something where students learn something. So imagine there is a sound wall where and having a QR code. So when someone scans it, it shows the frequency we are talking on, or their friends are shouting at. So the students are learning that what frequency they are talking, and even leading to videos that what actually frequency is. So we can go like there are so many ideas you can go for the park areas. Like we can have these and these colors and the swings and the why not have the mechanical chargers, like we just ran not a general workout machine, but we actually charge our phones over there. So it's 2035. We cannot end our productivity without a biophilic design. So adding the green walls, like basically the concrete issues is like it absorbs the heat and then radiates it later and creating an uncomfortable environment. But adding these walls, like making walls a solution of themselves, like we can add planters over there. We can uh, they can act as a biofilters for cooling and act as thermal isolation. And for the like it's 2035, so we can also add some automated integration system, so it doesn't make issue of the ball, automated nutrition dosing, and even on the cleaning part and the drip irrigation system. Like, what about the mosquitoes and everything? So there are many of the plants that comes that have some kind of smell and that reduces the mosquitoes and everything. So for the potential areas, we have eggs all over the we can put it in front of the eggs, all the beautiful walls. This could be the mechanism and a beautiful fountain. So these were the ideas that I couldn't resist to put on in. So we have Voto near Kailash, why not put it in this way, some parks ideas, the hills near Himalayan Circle, and we can have some reversible benches, like it gets dirty till the end of the day, just reverse it and anyone needs it over there. So yeah, thank you everyone.
May I now invite on stage our Dean in Alumni Relation, Professor Nilanjan Sendroy, and our special guest, Mr. Binny Bansal, to facilitate all our winners for presenting such a great ideas. First, I would like to call Samriddhi, who is the winner of this competition. Next, I would like to call our first runner-up, Saxena. Our second runner-up, Rohan Saxena. So this comic of Experience ITD won for our special guest, Mr. Binny Bansal. We can call our Associate Dean Outreach and New Initiatives, Professor Shilpi Sharma, to hand over this comic to our special guest, Mr. Binny Bansal. Thank you so much. May I now hand over the mic to Varun.
Such futuristic and insightful outlooks on the future of IT Delhi. Once again, a huge round of applause for Samriddhi, Ojaswa, and Rohan. I thank you all for coming and joining us today. I thank you, Mr. Binny Bansal sir and his family for taking out the time and attending this session. I invite you all for high tea outside, and I also announce that we have an inauguration of the Binny Bansal Exhibition Hall scheduled at 6 p.m. today. Thank you.